Heidi ho, my peeps. It's about time I give you an Ozempic and weight loss update. Gosh, I'm giddy. It's hard to know where to start. Well, I'll start with the news. Here's the news. I have finally reached and slightly surpassed a 100-pound weight loss. Today I got up and I got on the scale, and this is what I saw. So, yeah, still trying to wrap my mind around it. It's, well, any of you out there who have had to face losing the kind of weight that I've had to face losing, and still have to face because I'm just slightly more than halfway done, you know what it feels like. If you've lost this weight, you know what it feels like. I'm giddy, I'm happy, I'm scared, I'm sensitive, I'm doing a lot of things like blowing up at my family, just really dealing with the emotions and behaviors that come with this kind of a life change. And it's been difficult to, I'm still too close to it to be able to see how much of my attitude, behavior, and emotional life is tied up with the Ozempic doing its job, and how much of it is a result of actually having lost the weight. And I think it is a combination of both, perhaps even a 50-50 combination, because, well, we'll talk about the weight loss first. You know, there's so many different ways to describe what being fat and staying fat feels like, what it's about, why we do it. And my dog keeps knocking the table, so we're going to get some shaky shake. Come on up here and say hi. Say hi to everybody. Yeah, you know, I got to do that old lady say hi to my dog thing. Say hi to my dog. Oh, she's a happy girl. She just ate. Oh, and incidentally, I think I told you this. I'm going to tell you again, though. Her fructosamine, which is the test they do for dogs with diabetes, is absolutely perfect. She's on 2 units of insulin twice a day. She's happy and jumpy, and her life is very full. So, you know, it just makes me happy. She's blind as a bat, but that's okay. She gets around. Anyway, so that's the dog. But so let's go back to what weight loss means and how it can change you. Fat can mean a lot of different things to everyone. What it has meant to me most of my life has been a cocoon of buffering material that has allowed me to have my internal life and dialogue and act appropriately out in the world. The older I get, the more I believe that I'm somewhere on the autism spectrum. I'm sure that a lot of you out there sort of chuckle and say to yourselves, "Ya think?" I knew that. But the other thing that I am, which is odd if I actually am on the spectrum, is that I'm extremely empathetic. I pick up everybody else's emotions, and over the years I've come to learn how to deal with them. And actually doing YouTube videos is one of the most effective coping mechanisms I've found to feel what other people feel, but have it not destroy me on the inside, being just one click away, is the buffer that I need between myself and my own problems and your own problems. And so many of you have taken the time to share your problems with me, and I've considered that a huge compliment, because, you know, as we talk about stuff, my stuff, your stuff, our stuff, we both benefit, we all benefit. And that's hard to do if you have trouble with your own emotional life, which I have my whole life. So having the cocoon of fat has kept me buffered from the people that I live with, that I work with, that I deal with every day, and all of their stuff that I feel just intensely. So as the fat has dropped away, my reactions are a lot closer to the surface. And I think my empathetic feelings are also closer to the surface. When a friend talks about something that some travail that they're going through, I feel that as if I'm going through it myself. And I'm sure that's common with a lot of you people. You know, we're all on a spectrum of emotional behavior. And I'm not talking about autism, I'm talking about just every human being. Some people, psychopaths, really don't feel other people's emotions. They have their own, but they don't feel them. To the right of that are sociopaths, who don't really feel much of anything, and which frees them up to do all sorts of great and terrible things. But then from psychopath up to, you know, intense empath, all of us have a different spot where we can divide our emotions from the emotions of others around us. For me, I'm way over here on the empath end of the scale. So as I drop fat from around my body and around my psyche, I'm feeling even more than I used to, which has made me really reactive. I just let loose on Grant and one of my kids last week. Just no filter. Everything that's been bugging me, all the stuff that I never say, I said. In an extremely explosive and not particularly effective way. It just came out. And it affected my own behavior, because as all of this was going on, this day of just screeching at people, I started to think about the stuff I need to do, and I started thinking stuff like this. I need to get a pair of scissors and just do this. Just cut it off. And just hair. There's a lot involved in hair as well, which most of you women, many of you women understand that feeling of, you know, long hair somehow having some power. Then I looked around at my garden, at my struggling sunflowers and my flowering annuals that have not flowered. I mean, they're freaking they're 5 feet high and no flowers on them yet, which I don't understand. My zucchini that I have just babied along and received very little from. The dang tomatoes that just refuse to, I get my little cherry tomato, they turn green and then they fall off, they're gone, something eats them. They're just not, it's not happening with the tomatoes either. So, I'm looking at my garden and I'm thinking, you son of a bitch, I am gonna rip you out. I am done with you. And I was thinking in my mind about, outside of things like the roses, which have held up there into the bargain, and my brand new rosemary plant that a dear friend gave me, everything else I was like, oh, I could just imagine my garden just dirt, just cleanly raked dirt that I don't have to go out and water every day. I'll show you, you nonconformist plants. I'll show you who's boss. God damn it. So I went through that for a while, and I was telling my friend Rachel on the phone, just spilling. I mean, I was still full of piss and vinegar, and I'm telling her all this stuff I want to do. And very calmly she says, Cheryl, she says, I want you to wait until Tuesday night. We will talk again. She said, don't make any sudden moves. Wait until Tuesday night. If you still feel like shaving your head and pulling out all your plants, have at it. But I think you need a little bit of time to cool down. Yeah, well, Rachel, always the voice of reason, was right. So it's only Monday morning, and I'm cool down. I'm not going to murder any plants. Although I may pull out those stupid tomatoes. I mean, what's the point? Anyway. So I'm coming down from that, but I recognize that a huge part of that is adjusting to not only what's new now, but anticipation of what's going to be new another 70 pounds from now when I'm done. A lot will change, a lot will stay the same. New stuff will come up that used to be true. Stuff that's true now is going to fall away. And I know that preserving my relationships with people, with my yard, with my own creativity, all of that, that's really primarily important. Not to say that there aren't a few relationships that need to be shaken up. There are, but you know, I take a look at my life and the people that are in it now, and I realize that I've edited my life pretty well. Grant, my children, my friends, you know, my friends in my world that I'm physically with, and my friends, you guys. My channel has been at 19,200 subscribers for a long time. I'm sure many of those people don't watch, but I don't know how well I could handle a bigger channel, because I really enjoy engaging with everyone who leaves a comment. And I hope that the people who don't leave comments are enjoying what I have to say, enjoying me, getting something out of it. So I'm real happy with things just the way they are. I never thought of this channel as being a money maker, which it's not. Well, I don't know. It makes about maybe $300 a year. I mean, that pays for 1 month's worth of electricity, so I'm happy with that. But and I've never thought of it as a business. The only reason I did, and will occasionally still do, product reviews is because somebody wants to send me something cool, and in order for me to get it, I got to tell you guys about it. So that's why I will do the product review. But I don't think of that as business. That's just another kind of video I can do and put into my content. And that's another thing, I don't think about it as content either. I think about my channel as communication, as a tribe, you know, as a way of putting myself out there and then reeling in some of the most worthwhile, interesting, intelligent, fascinating new friends. That's what it's about to me. So my channel has helped me to, that was a long way around of explaining why my channel has helped me to function as I'm going through this big change. So that's about how that's what losing the fat has meant. Now, the Ozempic, that's a much bigger question. You know, a lot of studies are being done and information is coming out about how it affects your mind other than helping you to lose weight. And I don't think they really know how it helps you lose weight in your mind. They know how it helps in your body by slowing down your digestion, by dealing with the hunger hormones, yeah, basically that's it. You just stay fuller longer. So that's the physical part of it. The mental part, there is definitely a mental component, and the first one that a lot of people have been talking about is the way that Ozempic will turn off food noise. And most of you know what food noise is. You wake up, you've gone to sleep, you had your day of eating, good, bad, whatever. You wake up, it's 12:30 in the morning or 2:15, and all you can think of is the Count Chocula and milk in the refrigerator, and you're dying for it, or that last piece of cheesecake, or the graham crackers you haven't yet opened that'll go with the peanut butter that you just did, or the leftover Halloween candy, or whatever. The thing, the food that is in your house and is calling you. It wakes you up calling you. That's food noise. And it took food noise a little while to turn off for me. It was about 3 months in to the Ozempic routine that I noticed that the food noise was gone. And I mentioned it to my doctor too. Now it's gone. Although I'm still working my way through remembered food noise. And let me tell you about that. And I may have already mentioned this, but I'm going to mention it again if I haven't, even if I had. One of the items of food that, well, it can't even cause food noise, because if it's in my house, I'm going to eat it immediately. Immediately, it will no longer be there, and that's donuts, particularly from Judy's Donuts. Judy's Donuts has awesome, freshly baked, big, huge, marvelous donuts. I mean, there's nothing healthy about Judy's Donuts. And my favorite Judy's donut, I have favorites, but my favorite is a big old French cruller with pink icing. I think it's supposed to be cherry. I can't tell, it's just sweet. It is sweet pink flavored icing. And boy, I tell you what, stopping at Judy's Donuts to get 2 or 3 of those, or to get a full-on dozen donuts, take them home, and they'd be finished by the end of the day, kind of craziness. That was part of my life. I didn't do it real often. I haven't done it real often in about the past 10 years. But I would say once a year I would get a dozen donuts and have a big accident with those. And once every couple of months I would stop and get 2 or 3 big French pink crullers. But that hasn't happened. Well, it hasn't happened at all since Ozempic. So it's been 13 and a half, well, it was 13 months actually, before I started thinking about donuts again. But the way I thought about them was as a memory. I remembered how good they tasted and how good they made me feel. And I can't remember what it was that happened a couple of weeks ago. Something happened. and I was feeling all my nerves right on the surface. And Grant and I were in a different town, and I said to him, I need donuts and I need them right now. And he said, well, Rayleigh's grocery store has them. And I was thinking, Rayleigh's, okay, fine, but I'd rather find it from a real donut place. So we go to a bakery and we walk in, and they're in the, hi neighbors! My neighbors just picked up their garbage cans from today's pickup. Anyway, I'm sitting on the porch if you hadn't figured that out. So I thought, well, Rayleigh's, that's not Judy's. So we stopped at the bakery. Well, you walk into the bakery and it's like super almond crunchy. I mean, you know, kombucha, is that how you pronounce it? Kombucha, smoothies, and, you know, the bakery case had whole wheat muffins and carrot cake and that kind of stuff. And I look at that and I look at at Grant, and I'm like, you know, bitch, please. I can't eat this stuff. I want donuts, real donuts. So we go over to Rayleigh's and walk into their little coffee place, and there is their donut display. And they had, come on up here, and they had real donuts. They had raspberry filled donuts, and they had chocolate donuts, and they had donuts with sprinkles, and they had maple bar donuts, and they didn't have crullers, but they had all those others. So I picked 3 donuts. I picked a raspberry filled donut, a chocolate donut. The last one I think it had sprinkles on it. I can't remember. Anyway, it wasn't a maple bar. I did not get one of those, and I don't know why, because I like them, but I just didn't. He got a couple donuts. We went out and we sat in the car, and I slowly and methodically ate those donuts and drank my coffee. And I looked over at Grant and I said, something is wrong. Either these are the worst donuts ever, or there's something wrong with my taste buds, because they taste real flat. I'm picking up the sweet, but it's not doing for me what it used to. I'm not feeling that body rush of relief that you can often feel when you overdose on sugar because your emotions are real high. Didn't feel any of that. And I told Grant, I said, I wonder if it's because they're not Judy's donuts, and that's what I really wanted. And he's eating his, and he says, well, mine tastes fine. And I said, taste this. And he had a bite of whatever it was I was eating at that moment. And yeah, okay, that tastes good to me. Huh, okay, file this away for later. And I think I said, you know, I need to try Judy's donuts, and then I'll know what's going on. So a week and a half later, and I told my friend and neighbor Lorena, who has been with me through this whole journey and is on her own journey and deals with a lot of the same stuff I do. I told her about my experience and how I think I need to get a Judy's pink cruller and eat it and see. So a few days later she calls, she says, I've got pink crullers, come over. So I hop in the golf cart and I drive on up there, and we sit down at our table. We each take a pink cruller, and I slowly started to eat the pink cruller. And I was halfway through and I started to cry. I burst into tears because the pink cruller tasted like the Rayleigh's donuts. It was the joy of pink crullers is gone. And I was going through all this weird stuff like, oh my gosh, pink crullers, the thing I love more than anything else in the world to sedate me, is no longer working. And that was like, that blew me back in my seat. And I was telling Lorena, poor woman, she's like, don't cry, it's okay, it'll be okay. So I finished it, and I told her, I said, you know, I'm going to finish this donut. I said, not because it tastes good, but because I want to give it a proper burial. So I finished it, and at least for now, I'm done. That noise is gone. And I am I am giving 100% of that result to Ozempic, because I think Ozempic has, number one, it's changed the way I taste things. And I've noticed this for a while, but I've never noticed it was something I absolutely adore. Well, no, that's not true. A year ago on my birthday, I noticed it with an ice cream sundae that I had with Grant. We went through a drive-through. My birthday gift to myself was an ice cream sundae. I ate it, and I told Grant there's something wrong with this ice cream. He tasted it, it tasted fine to me. So this has happened once. But this is the second time, the time that is, doggy, has really, come on up here, has really cemented my understanding that my taste buds have changed, but also that my food noise has, come here, baby, anyway, and also that my food noise has gone away. Now, yippity-doo-dah, right? Except for that, what's going to happen when I go off Ozempic? I don't want to take Ozempic for the rest of my life. I think I want to start weaning off of Ozempic when I get to about 180 pounds, 175, 180, somewhere in there, because I will have another 25 probably to lose, and I want to slowly and carefully come off of it as I test my new behavior and my new eating regime, which is already pretty well cemented in my life, but also as I test the food noise and the hunger responses that I expect to return. So preparing for that is super important. One way I want to prepare is to, I'm in the process of getting rid of all the stuff in my freezers that we don't eat, stuff that's like hoarded food almost. So I am cooking up the prepared foods that Grant will buy at Costco. I told him don't buy anymore. I'm cooking them up, serving them to him. I'm giving away a lot of, you know, still edible frozen things I've made, like spaghetti or beans or this or that, because I don't eat spaghetti, at least not commercial spaghetti, and I don't eat enough beans to keep 2 gallons in my freezer, you know. So and then I'm getting rid of little packets of this and that. I'm trying to cook it up and feed it to Grant, or I'm thawing it and giving it to the cats or the cows across the street, something. I just need to divest myself of all of that, get down to one upright chest freezer that is only 3/4 of the way full and 1/4 of it is ice. That's where I want to get to. And that, and of course my ancient 1978 refrigerator freezer that works so well and that I love so much. I want to keep that and the chest freezer, and that's it. I've got 2 other small chest freezers that have to go. The other thing I've been doing is going through the hoarded food in the pantry. Anything that's out of date is going. If it's something the cats can eat, they get a big old slop bucket of it in the evening. If it's something that the cows can eat, I take a slop bucket over to the neighbor's house and then she gives it to the cows. So I'm getting rid of that. Anything that's fairly new, well, I'm holding on to that. I mean, having 2 or 3 square feet of hoarded canned goods is okay. You know, you keep them there. Maybe you'll eat them, maybe you won't. If at the end of their life you're not eating them, you buy some more and you feed your animals the stuff that's gone out of date. And by out of date, I mean, if it's January 24 that's stamped, I'll throw it out in January, well, maybe December of 25. I give my canned goods a year and a half before I really start to get rid of them. But when I find something from 2016, 2020, 2021, that stuff goes. So anyhow, so that is all in service to replace randomly hoarded food, many things I don't eat now and I don't plan on eating later. Get rid of that stuff. Oh, and also it's not just about me. The stuff that Grant does not readily, happily eat, there's no reason to store that either. Grant doesn't like pasta, so why do I have a foot square of pasta hoarded? Why? He doesn't eat it. So he doesn't like it. He'll eat it, but he doesn't like it. I would rather make him stuff that he likes. Let's put it that way. That stuff I'll hoard. Anything he likes, I will hoard. But that's pretty small because the way he eats and the way I eat are beginning to come into line. We have a small list of foods that we eat on the daily, and then a rather small list of recipes that we enjoy from time to time. So I want my food, I'm going to call it a hoard, even though it really isn't going to be, but my food hoard to reflect what we're actually eating. Okay, so that's reasonable. So I'm going to continue working on that so that when I start to wean off, I will continue to have my, gosh, I've gone over 30 minutes. Sorry, you guys. Hey, any of you who stayed with me through all of this explanation, you know what? Thank you for listening. I know a lot of people clicked off, and I don't blame them. But this Ozempic update thing, this weight loss update this is a pivotal day for me. Slightly over 100 pounds, 100.8 pounds. It's pivotal, and I need to talk about it. So thanks, those of you who've hung in. So anyhow, to wrap this whole thing up, I want to get the food in line so that there's no question, so there's nothing on my shelves that is like, oh, I really want to eat that, whatever, that salty snap cracker, or that peanut butter and jelly, or that pasta, which I love, even though Grant doesn't like it. I love it. That's why it has to go. Oh, and I'm not going to stop eating pasta. I just want to start making it myself. If I eat pasta, it's because I've done the work to make it. And that's another video because I just got my pasta press, so I'll talk about that later. But, so it's the food. And then the other thing that I have to do between now at 238.2 pounds and when I'm done and I can say, okay, I need to start adding a little bit of calorie because I'm now, I've overshot my goal, and it's not feeling comfortable, so I need to stop losing. When I get between now and that point, I have to pack on as much muscle mass as I possibly can. So it is time to start lifting weights. I've already got the daily exercise thing going. The strapping on the work boots, going out with my pickaxe and my rake and my shovel and doing work, lifting things, taking them here and there, walking around my garden, walking around my yard, all of that. I've got that down. Walking through stores without getting tired. I'm there. I'm there now. But now I need to do phase 2, which is weight lifting / training. And I hope that with my next update, I will be my next weight loss / Ozempic / lifestyle update. I will be able to talk to you about my progress in that. And I hope to get this started this week. I want to start this week. So I need to do those 2 things, because if I've packed on a lot of muscle that I am continuing to support because weight training is a habit, and I have honed down my food to just its core necessity of nutrition. If I have done both of those things, when I start to wean off of the Ozempic, then I will be able to concentrate on my food noise, what it means, how to deal with it, and with my hunger, what it means and how to deal with it. So even though somewhere upwards of 80% of the people who go on Ozempic and lose weight gain it back, even though that's more or less true. I don't want to be in that part of the statistic. I want to be in the smaller statistic at the top of people who have managed to use Ozempic as a tool, which is that's all it is, in order to do what they need to do, what we need to do in order to be as healthy as we can be at whatever our age and capabilities are, and be successful. So that's where my mind is shifting right now. I do want to make a comment about age and capabilities. God has blessed me with a strong, relatively healthy body. The damage I've done to my body, maybe with the exception of the ovarian cancer that they caught so early that it's gone, maybe with the exception of that, I have done everything to myself. The diabetes, I did that to myself. The high blood pressure, I did that to myself. Kidney problems, not so much. I've had those all my life. So I do have some kidney issues, but that's about it. My mobility is good. My knee, occasional knee pain, I did that to myself when I was 17 years old, skateboarding down a steep hill at the park, and I lost it and tore the crap out of several of the tendons in my knee, my meniscus and a couple others. Never had any surgery, it was just, here, wrap up your knee, stay off of it. So I stayed out of school for 3 weeks and just vegetated while the swelling went down. And my knee was fine until now that I'm older. Whatever injuries that I had at the time, I'm sure they're beginning to calcify or do whatever the crap they do when you get old. But it's not enough to keep me from walking or working. It's not enough to keep me off of a stair climber or to keep me from lifting weights. It's just something I need to be aware of, and I am. But everything else, I don't have hip problems. I don't have shoulder problems. I have a little bit of arthritis in my hands, a little bit in my toes, but I'm 60, almost 65, so that's normal, more or less normal. But that's a very short and mild list of infirmities for a woman who has been morbidly obese most of her adult life and has done the metabolic damage that I have done. So all I can say is that God in the universe has had his and its hand on my head, protecting me from myself all of these years. So I know that my ability to recover and to succeed and to be inspirational to others, my personal ability is much greater than a lot of other people's. And I don't take that lightly, and I do not take it for granted. And I believe that it gives me it places in my lap a certain responsibility to succeed and to be inspirational and to tell others, as far as you're able to go with whatever you're dealing with, your knee replacement or your shoulder replacement or your metabolic issues that are not responding to weight loss or whatever it is, go as far as you can and then maintain whatever you have managed to build and regain, whatever that is, whatever percentage it was, because even if it's 5%, that is a huge win against the odds of everything that can happen to us by the time we get to my age. So many of you are pretty much in my age range, 55 to 75, so many of you are right in there. So I hope and I intend to continue to do this and to be at the end of all this, and a year after, and 5 years after, and however many years I have to live after, I want to maintain it for me and for you. So that brings me to the end of a very long 40-minute video. Oh my God. Sorry, you guys. The next one will be shorter. The next one I'll show you my new pasta press, and you know, who knows what I'll share with you after that. But I hope you're all doing great where you are. I hope you're feeling successful and happy, and most of all, hopeful about your life now and whatever fresh hell we have to see in 2025. I wish you all strength and happiness. And on that note, I'm saying bye-bye.